In China, there is always a McDonald's or KFC near almost every train station. Some people have fast food here, while others take a rest, drink beer, and make phone calls. The criminals in this case were arrested by the police in a McDonald's while making a deal. At 11 p.m. on March 23, 2013, the police department in Xi'an City received a vague intelligence report. According to the intelligence report, several people from Wugong County were going to trade a stolen car near the train station in Xi'an tonight. It was a black Volkswagen sedan, but the license plate number was unknown. As for the specific time and place where the suspects would do the deal, the police didn't have any relevant information. However, the intelligence obtained by the intelligence department was very accurate, so the police department immediately dispatched criminal police to closely monitor all the cars around the train station. They also required all patrol cars on the street to be replaced with non-police vehicles. All the police officers involved in this operation were also required to change into plain clothes. The purpose was to let the suspects guard down and carry out the transaction. However, due to the large flow of people near the train station, it was difficult to find the target. Just as the police were staring at every car entering and leaving the train station, they suddenly got a message from the command center saying that there was a black Volkswagen car with a blocked license plate in the parking lot near the train station. Then, some police officers immediately drove to the parking lot to check the situation. After arriving there, 2 police officers secretly approached the car and saw something unusual. The left front bumper of the car was damaged. Then the police checked around the car and walked to the back of it. When a policeman touched the rear bumper, he felt moist on his hand. So he immediately returned to the police car and turned on the light to check what was on his hand. It turned out that what he just got from the rear bumper was blood. The police got confused. If this car had an accident earlier, it should have blood on the front bumper. Why was there blood on the rear bumper? And why would the suspects drive dozens of miles overnight to sell the car in another city? There must be something worse than they knew. So the police reported the situation to their superiors and secretly waited near the car. At 2:10 a.m., 2 men got into the car and drove westward. The police followed discreetly behind them. On the way, the suspect suddenly stopped, got out of the car, and threw a bag into a garbage bin on the side of the road. Then they got back to the car and resumed driving. 2 of the police officers got out of the car to check the bag that was discarded by the suspects, while the rest of the police officers continued to follow the car. When the police opened the bag, they found that it was a coat covered with bloodstains, and the blood was fresh. It seemed that this case was not just a simple car theft. The priority at that point was to catch the suspects. However, due to the large number of people near the train station, in order to prevent the suspects from escaping or hurting innocent people, the police had to find an opportunity to get them. A few minutes later, the suspects parked the car and got off. The police quietly followed them from behind. During this time, the police overheard one of the suspects calling someone and saying that they would meet at McDonald's. After the call, the suspect asked passers-by how to get to McDonald's, so the police confirmed that the suspects should have agreed to make the deal at McDonald's. Then some police were sent to the McDonald's, waiting for the arrival of the suspects. The man pretending to read the newspaper was one of the undercover policemen. At 3:15 a.m., 2 suspects and another man entered McDonald's. As soon as they showed up, they were caught on the spot. After questioning the 2 men who were driving the stolen car, it was known that one was Feng Junqiang, 24 years old, and the other was Wang Hangfei, 22 years old. Both of them were farmers from Wugong County, but they refused to tell how they got the car. The man who met them at McDonald's was entrusted by them to sell the car. Then who was the owner of this car? According to the police's investigation of the vehicle information, the owner was Niu Li, 34 years old. He bought this car just a few months ago, and the purpose of buying it was to work as a part-time Uber driver after work to make more money. His wife just gave birth to a baby, and they were spending more than their incomes, so he thought of having a side job. However, he hadn't returned home since he went out yesterday, and his wife, who had waited for him all night, still couldn't reach him. The disappearance of Niu and the bloodstains on the car make the police have a bad feeling. The police could only continue the interrogation and exert pressure on the two suspects. After several hours, they finally revealed the shocking truth. At 8 p.m. on March 23rd, Feng and Wang took a Uber to a remote place. When the driver just parked the car, Wang took out the wire prepared in advance from his pocket and strangled the driver from behind until he stopped struggling and passed out. Worried that the driver wasn't dead, Wang got out of the car and picked up a stone from the roadside. He returned to the car and smashed the driver's head until there was blood flowing out. Then, Feng and Wang dumped the body in a nearby wilderness. Due to the darkness at that time, the suspects couldn't tell the exact location where they dumped the body. The police could only take Wang to the road, he said, for a carpet-like search. However, after searching every inch of the roadside, the police didn't find any trace of the victim. Could the driver just be seriously injured and not dead and be saved by someone? The police once again asked Wang to describe the location of the body as detailed as possible. He said that when they carried the driver out of the car, there was a lot of blood on the roadside, and they put some sand over the blood. They also threw the victim's shoes in a nearby place. The police continued to search based on these details. After walking more than 7 miles along the riverbank, they finally found bloodstains in a pile of sand on the roadside and found the body not far away. At this time, the driver had already died. But what was the motive of the two suspects? If it was just for stealing the car, why did they kill the driver? Wang and Feng lived in the same village and had known each other since they were teenagers. After graduating from junior high school, they both worked as farmers like their parents. Both of them were addicted to playing online games and often went to the internet cafe together. On that day, they had run out of money, but they wanted to continue playing online games in the internet cafe, so they decided to get some money. At that time, Wang was still on parole. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison for robbing a tobacco shop 3 years ago, and he was just released on parole on February 5, 2013. Wang wanted to get money by robbing again, but this time he wanted to do something big. After discussion, they decided to randomly take a car, rob it, and sell it. Because the driver saw their faces when they got in the car, they mercilessly killed him. Then they contacted someone to sell the car as soon as possible. I have made a serial vehicle robbery and murder case before. You could also watch that video on my channel. In the end, Wang was sentenced to death for intentional homicide and robbery, and Feng was sentenced to life imprisonment.